Imagine if visionaries of the past, like Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci, were shaping our world today. What kind of masterpieces will they create with the tools that we have now? Someone able to blend art and science to create beautiful masterpieces and yet functional. Well, this person does exist. A visionary since he was a kid. At 12 years old, he was able to conceptualize a car that he will later design and produce to become one of the top luxury brands car in the world. I'm talking about Orazio Pagani and his very exclusive custom hyper luxury cars. A genius recognized for the high quality and dedication to perfection. But when I'm talking about cars, if I say real estate, well, because he has the sight to create a building, and not just any building. He's pushing the boundaries like he always does. He's sculpting and engineering this property to redefine the real estate luxury in Miami, and maybe the world. His vision remains unchanged, to create the extraordinary. Pagani Residence is not just another building. It's actually a masterpiece designed to live in. We have multiple luxury projects in Miami, but the project that we have today, that we're going to present today, is definitely going to be one of the top competitors, and probably is going to go over all the top luxury buildings in Miami. Why? Because the person that is behind this project. And to explain the project in a better way, I have Goritza. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Andres.
How important is this project for Orazio? How do you think he will incorporate all his knowledge and all the expertise in materials to create a masterpiece here?
Well, first of all, we're very proud. You know, this is Pagani Automobili, one of the top brands globally. So you can imagine the entire heritage and everything that Orazio Pagani has placed in the past 25 years, I would say almost 3 decades, kind of now needs to translate into the luxury living experience. And so we're the first in the world Pagani residences to be built in this beautiful waterfront location. The design, the craftsmanship, the unique approach that Orazio Pagani has as an engineer, as a designer, when he's creating and fabricating every piece of and every single component of any Pagani car, it's just really, really elevated. Those people who understand the brand, the people who actually follow Orazio Pagani, who may be into cars, understand very well when you mention Pagani, what it means.
I think that's the hard part that you try to
convey,
to communicate to people. It's what kind of thoughts are behind the building, and it's basically a genius behind the building and meticulous in every detail, and he's actually super involved with the project.
Correct.
It's master. I mean, it's probably one of the last legacies he's going to build.
That's correct. And you know, when you look at the automotive brands and the owners, if we look at Ferrari and Aston Martin, all these different founders, they're actually, unfortunately, no longer with us. We have one living legend that is Orazio Pagani, who is still contributing to the world. He is, you know, personally involved, in the design of everything he does under Pagani Automobili, but also, of course, now you can imagine Pagani Residences. When we talk about that direct DNA that's extracted from the brand and how we infuse it into this beautiful boutique residence, you're going to experience it from the moment that you step inside, from every single detail in the lobby, from the curated Pagani Arte furniture in the collection that's going to be displayed all throughout our amenities.
Tell me about the garage, because this is actually a building for car lovers. It's the ultimate garage experience, I will
Correct.
call it.
It's going to be kind of like a car club, you know. It's anybody that appreciates the beauty and the luxury and the detail would really, really enjoy this experience. Those clients that may be owners of Pagani cars will have special designated parkings for their cars. You know, Paganis are much wider, much bigger. We're going to have electric charging stations.
Something that is very important. Most of the garage are always like gray.
It's a gray concrete box. That's
Exactly.
it. There's nothing exciting about about it.
Here, it's coming something different.
Right. It's going to be like a club, like a private car club, so that you can feel proud to actually display your car and park it there. We're going to have the services as well. Potentially somebody, a technician, who is going to be available to the residents to come and check on the cars. We're going to have, individual EV charging stations. So even if you drive a Porsche, your car typically the battery needs to be charged. So in regular buildings, this very well, there's no capacity to do that. So this is the engineering and the detail behind that engineering for this particular building is something that we haven't seen anywhere else.
So all those little details, like the outlets you can even see, they are basically lined with the marble or the kitchen. You also have the magnetic doors, which are pretty cool. We'll see it later. And you have the big balconies. All the units are corner units, basically. Mm-hmm. And this is the size of the balcony that you're going to have. It's huge balconies.
Right. You have expansive terraces. The details that you mentioned are very, very unique. There's really no such attention to detail if we look at any development today. So it really comes behind the mastermind of Horacio Pagani, and that the detail really, really matters, especially for this type of clientele. Magnetic doors, latches. We have, details in the kitchens. We have details in the lights. We're going to actually have a lot of on-brand details from the light fixtures through the, the choice of flooring, the colors, the kitchens.
He's basically, as he does with the cars, customizing a hyper luxury building.
Correct. And the customization is really a big part of the Pagani brand. It is the client's experience. So anytime that you order a customizable car in Pagani, you can go to so much different detail in your customization. So what we want to do is reflect that same DNA. For the clients that purchase these residences, the level of customization that Pagani residences are going to offer is just, there's nothing on the market that exists, to be honest with you.
So how was the process to choose? I mean, as a visionary, choose this spot on an island facing the west. And this is the last undeveloped island in Miami.
Correct. When you go back in the history and you kind of understand who Horacio Pagani is, and he is really, truly the innovator. He is the pioneer, even in his own craft and his own industry.
Genius. He's an artist.
He's a genius. And when you're a pioneer, you want to be the first. So kind of following that logic behind the Pagani brand, we want to be, we're the first branded residence in this last beautiful piece of paradise in Miami. We're also the most luxurious building that's going to be built on this island as well. So when you connect the dots, it kind of makes a lot of sense. By the time that we built this building, the city is also completely redeveloping the location.
That's the other thing. I mean, this location, I know Miami for a long time, and this location is amazing. But the past 16 years, it hasn't been
touched, or
it's been like the same. But now with the change of the zoning, they're allowed to build to 650 feet, which is around 60 floors. So you have high rises coming to this island, which was, before it didn't happen here. It was just low buildings. And the density will change. And they also, some been bringing a huge mall to transform the area. So is a visionary. He understands what is going to happen in this island, and he's actually created.
Right, and we want to be the first. Correct. Yes, and then everybody follows. The beautiful side of it, as you mentioned, is we're not just building here residential towers. The city is also coming with the MBV 100 Master Redevelopment Plan. They're coming in together, so you have a beautiful blend of the city and the private funds completely transforming the island. So it's not just the developers building luxury buildings; it's also the infrastructure, the parks, the beautiful island walk that you will see right where we're standing. It's going to be over 2 miles connecting all of the islands. Walkability, shops, restaurants, recreation, brand new schools, academies for the kids. So it's a beautiful addition.
The next 5 years, we're going to see 80% of the island changing, basically.
Of course, yes. And as you can tell, when we go back to Brickell, we look at these areas, the big city, typically it's about 10, 15 years. It's still large areas to develop. But here we're in a small piece of island. So we're estimating about 5 years' time that a lot of it will already be under construction.
5 years, you'll have this building and you will have a lot of commercial shopping center around.
Beautiful walkability.